Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storm, here to help you unlock the mind, business, and spirit of your private practice success. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to grow, this is the place for you if you really want to create a thriving private practice. Before we dive in, I want to share something that can really make a difference in your business. Imagine having an expert in your pocket, someone available on demand whenever you need guidance. Well, that's exactly what my new program, Practice Momentum, offers. With over 30 years of experience at your fingertips, you can now get the support you need whenever you need it. Curious? Head over to brooklynstorm.com to learn more. And now let's get into today's episode.
Hi, my name is Chloe and I'm part of the Practice Momentum program. I've been working with Brooklyn for a couple of months now and I can't believe it took me this long. Before I joined Momentum, I was trying to do everything. I was trying to refine my marketing. I was trying to update my website all the time. I was trying to network. I was trying to build my practice, and I had absolutely no idea what to focus on, what I needed to do first. I couldn't understand why nothing was working. It was so stressful because there was no money coming in at that point, and I had been following Brooklyn for a few years, and I always wanted to do coaching with her, and I always kind of put it off because I didn't feel like I was at that point in time. It was my imposter syndrome pretty badly. Fast forward, the time felt right. Brooklyn was so accommodating and helpful with finding a way for me to do the program, and it's been absolutely life-changing. Brooklyn has helped me to plan and make goals and break down bigger tasks. Like, don't just do a website, actually break it into parts so you have areas to focus on, which I've never done before. I'm so grateful. I reached all of my goals in the last quarter, and that led to a massive increase in my caseload, in my income, and my website is actually generating referrals now, which is incredible. I didn't think it would ever happen. So I'm so grateful. If you're thinking about it, don't wait as long as I did. Absolutely do it. I couldn't speak highly enough of Brooklyn, her generosity, her care, and compassion.
Okay. Oh my gosh, do you love Chloe? She is amazing. And guess what? She's not the only one. I've actually got a bunch of audios from people that I've been working with in Momentum. I just haven't had a chance yet to upload them and save them and do the things anyway. So you got to hear Chloe's beautiful message again. I'm so lucky. And if you're interested in Momentum, of course, the link's in the show notes for you as well. 3 people have joined. I know, 3 new people joined last week. I'm so excited. So there were 20 places available. Now there's 17. And yeah, you've got until the 15th of July. So today's the 2nd. So you've got about 2 weeks. Yeah, I know. It's so good. And it's only $275 a month. I know. How good is that? And you get unlimited support from me. Right? Every single day you get as much support from me to work on your private practice as you like. So go for it. And you get that for a whole freaking year. I know, it's so good. It's so good. But guess what else? I have news. So I'm just going to tell you something quickly, like a life event that happened, because it might help you with your business. The other day, I needed to change my internet provider. So I had Optus for my, we don't have NBN here or, fiber or anything like that. Everything here where I am, it's all wireless, right? So everything's Wi-Fi. And anyway, I got my little Wi-Fi tower with Optus. I use that little Wi-Fi tower for my internet on my Mac. I use it to stream my Netflix while Buddy and I are having a little cuddle in the evening together with our ceremonial cacao. Yes, we do. And I had an Optus account for my mobile phone, right? Which I barely use, to be honest. I mean, if you tried to call me, you're going to get an engaged signal because I've got it on focus mode 24 hours a day. It's a nightmare for people who do want to get in touch with me. But most people just get in touch with me on socials anyway, or send me an email, so it's just easier. But anyway, I don't like being bothered on the phone. But I decided that I was going to get out of Optus because I just got to be my bonnet around the fees and the charges, and it's something that I wanted to do. It was on my to-do list for months, and I think I told you, like, a few months ago, I just made a decision that I was going to slash all of my costs associated with the business, and I did. I was just checking this morning what my percentage was in terms of ratio of the revenue for the business and the costs and the profit and everything like that, and I'm actually running at 79.6% profit. So I'm feeling incredibly proud of myself. I run a lean ship, but this Optus was the one little, blip on my spreadsheet. And yeah, I was prioritizing other things. Anywho, the other day decided I was just going to get it sorted. So yeah, lesson: don't cancel your internet and Wi-Fi plans and phone plans until you've got new ones sorted out, guys. That's the lesson. I didn't do that. I cancelled my Optus and everything. I felt smug as a bug in a rug straight after I did it. I thought, I'm going to reduce my costs even more. This is going to be awesome. And, I'd found so many different plans with, Telstra, iiNet, Vodafone, that offered me the same amount of cover and data and all of this as Optus, but it was like a third of the price. So I knew I was getting ripped off. I needed to change. Anyway, I called Vodafone, and anyway, it's all going really well. And then they said to me, I need your ID. I was like, yep. And I whip out my driver's license. I give her my driver's license. She's like, nope. And I said, what do you mean no? And she goes, it's not valid. I go, it is too. She says, it's not, ma'am. We're getting a message here that says that the driver's license number is not valid. And I said, but it is valid. And I said, maybe you just didn't have the right number. And so I read it out to her again, and then I said, can you read it back? She did. She said, that's the number I had, ma'am. I was like, well, can you just try it again, please? And then she tried it again, and it still didn't go through. So then I got frustrated with her because I was thinking like she was not typing it incorrectly. So then she says, oh, do you have another form of ID? I said, yeah, I got my passport. So I went and got that, and I read her out the number, read her out the details. She entered it all. She comes back, no. I said, what do you mean no? She said, no, man, that can't be validated either. I said, this is BS. Like, how can that not be validated? Anywho, I got in a huff about it because I'm checking everything. So I know everything's up to date, and I'm looking at my driver's license. It's all good. I'm looking at my passport. It's all good. Anyway, she says, oh, do you want me to escalate it? I said, yes, I do, because I need a plan. Like, I can't be without a phone or an internet. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. I speak to the higher ups apparently, and they're telling me the same thing. So I'm very frustrated. So then I just sort of said, well, then I'm not going to go with you. I'll go with somebody else, somebody who knows what they're doing. I didn't say it like that, but that was like my vibe, because I was getting worried and I was getting anxious. Like, my anxiety was building because I'm thinking, what's going to happen if I don't have Wi-Fi or a phone? Like, I'm out. I'm going to have to go and get a real job. I don't want to do that. I like the job that I've created for myself. And then anyway, I rang somebody else. They were like, nah, can't verify it. I was like, what on earth is going on? And then I thought, I'm going to check myself. So I went, you can go online, you can like try and verify your ID and that. So I did that. I type in my details. Oh, that's right. I needed to get, this is how crazy it is, right? I needed to get a Medicare rebate because I had a, you know, how you, when you get the assessment done for the autism and stuff like that, you know how when it comes to the medication, you've got to go and do it all again with a psychiatrist. So, anyway, I did that during the week as well. It was a big week. I did that during the week as well. And I wanted to get my Medicare rebate, right? So I never really registered with my Gov and my ID because I know conspiracy theorists get a bad name, but I am one. Don't hold it against me. We can all have our own views, right? Um, but anyway, it's why I never registered because, like, I've got, I don't want to go off on a tangent. I've just got an issue with the whole digital ID thing. I think it's a big invasion of privacy and this whole not using cash anymore, and it worries me. But anyway, so I intentionally never got set up. But now it turns out like I needed to actually go and set it up to get my Medicare rebate, which I wanted because it's like quite a lot of money. And if you know, you know, right? So it wasn't money I was happy to leave sitting on the table. So off I go, and they're like, in my Gov, it's like, you need 100 points of ID. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, here we go. So I get my driver's license. I put in all of the information. I double check it. I triple check it. I get a red error message in a great big red, pale red content box that says unable to validate and verify ID. And my ID had been scanned. Like, you know how you got to like use your camera and scan the front and the back? And it was the error message says that the information on the scan is different to what the information that Vic Roads have. And I'm thinking, how can that be? Like, Vic Roads gave me the license. I can laugh about it now, but I had a big meltdown about this, and it's not even funny. I did. But then I thought to myself, okay, well, I'll just use my passport then. And same thing, I had to scan the page of my passport where my photo was, and I had to type in like my passport number and everything. And I did all of that, and yeah, I got this red content box saying, yeah, unable to validate and verify the ID. The information on the scan is not matching the information that the Australian Passport Office has on file. And I am like, I'm beside myself by this point. I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, what is going on? It triggered a whole lot of stuff from when I was at uni. So, in my first year of uni, I was such a goody two shoes, right? And I was like, you know, just trying to, I was a very goody two shoes. I was trying to be like the best student that I could be. I was always like offering to do extra credit things for my tutors and my professors and stuff. Like, I was that student, really annoying to all the other students, but that was me. And and yeah, this one day I went to go into my statistics class, and my statistics professor walked all the way up the theatre at Monash University. Everyone was watching him, and he comes over to me and he goes, "Can I have a word outside?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And I felt very smug because I thought that I was going to get like praised for something, or I thought that he was going to give me an assignment or a job or a special task. You know, I felt like, yeah, pretty happy with myself, and I was happy. It's so embarrassing. And I was happy that people were looking at me because, like, I wanted them to see, wow, she's such a goody two shoes. Anyway, he takes me out into the corridor and he says, "Oh, you know, I'm not sure how to tell you this, but you can't actually be in my class anymore." And I said, "I beg your pardon." And he said, "Yeah, I think you need to go and speak to whoever it was." It wasn't the dean, it might have been the vice chancellor or something. Anyway, so I couldn't believe it. I had to go and pack up my stuff, which was mortifying. My face was red. I was hot. I was shaking. I was blinking away tears. My face was all prickly. Like, it was really, yeah, I had no idea what was going on. And I felt like I was in massive trouble for something. And that's the total opposite to where I wanted to be, obviously. But they had a shuttle bus that went from the Peninsula campus to the Clayton campus, which was where the dean is, or was back then, all those years ago. And so I went up, and I was meant to have an appointment. Like, they're like, oh, have you got an appointment? I was like, no. But then I just burst into tears and I said, oh, I just got kicked out of a statistics class because he said that I wasn't allowed to be enrolled. And it was that type of crying, right? Anyway, the poor receptionist, she's like trying to get me a glass of water, trying to get me to calm down. She's like, it's all right, he'll come and see you. I was there about 15 minutes, then I was allowed to go in, and I was just like a blubbering mess. I handed over my student ID card. I said I didn't know what was going on. And anyway, he got on the computer and started doing stuff and everything, and then he said to me that I'd been temporarily unenrolled from Monash because the ATO had contacted, so ATO is the Australian Tax Office, they had, I know if you're in Australia, you know that, but for people who are in other countries, that's why I just said it. And so the ATO had told the university, because I was on HEX, that I was suspended or had to be suspended because my tax file number had been duplicated. That was the word that they used. And I was saying to the guy, like, I don't know, what does that even mean? And anyway, it turned out that there'd been identity theft. So when all this happened, I was thinking, oh no, not again, not again. Please don't let it be happening again. And yeah, I spiraled. Big time I spiraled, and I was so worried that my internet, because they said to me your internet's getting cut off at midnight, and I was so worried. I went on Facebook and I put a post on my personal profile because I just wanted a way of letting everybody know. And then anyone that I had an appointment with the next day, I was just like quickly messaging, like, just sort of saying, look, if I don't turn up, this is why, this is what's happening. Anywho, I found a workaround. The workaround was you go to Aldi and you get yourself a starter kit, and when you set it up, you don't need to provide your ID if you've already got a bank account with one of the big four banks. They just say which bank are you with. You tap the logo for your bank. It opens up that bank's app. That app tells you, oh, Telstra's trying to have access to your details, allow, or yes or no. And I'm like, yes. And they were just like, yep, you're all good to go. So that worked. And Aldi, same deal. So thank goodness, although I technically don't have a working ID at the moment for whatever reason, I'm back online. So it's a huge relief. And then the other thing too is what's happened is, two things. The first thing is the driver's license information, like my actual driver's license, doesn't match what's in VicRoads database, which how? Anyway, and the same for the passport. But then the overarching issue when it comes to my Gov and my ID is that the names don't match. The reason that the names don't match is because you got to have the same details on everything. In Victoria, when you get a driver's license, they put your first name, the letter of your first initial for your middle name, and then your surname. On your passport, it's different. It's still your name, but they type out your whole middle name. And so because I've got a piece of ID that's got a whole middle name and then I've got another piece of ID that doesn't, they're not speaking to each other in the digital world. The algorithm is flagging it as a mismatch, and that's giving my Gov a red flag and saying, no, we can't verify this is actually Brooklyn because the details on both pieces of ID aren't matching 100%. So yeah, I spoke to Vic Roads. They said that they'll look into it, get back to me in a few weeks. I've contacted the Australian Passport Office, still waiting to hear back from them. But to be fair to them, this happened on the weekend. Today it's Tuesday. So, oh no, today it's Wednesday. So they've only had 2 days really. So yeah, I'm not upset or anything like that. I know that they're probably super busy. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty scary to think that your ID that you think is valid ID from a government department might actually not be government, not be government, might not actually be recognised by the department that issued it. It's pretty scary. And had I not needed to provide my ID to Vodafone, I would be none the wiser. And just imagine what kind of problems. No, let's not imagine that. Okay, so it's temporarily sorted. We have a temporary fix. And the reason that I wanted to share that with you was because Vic Road said it happens a lot. As I said, haven't heard anything from the Australian Passport Office yet, but online, other people have been saying to me the same thing happened to them for people who live in Victoria. And they said it's not a quick fix. It's actually taken months. So yeah, if it happens to you, I just want you to remember this so that you know what to do. But if you forget, let me know. Today, I want to talk with you about, there was a really good question that came up in the community. And so I wrote an email about it. I didn't intend to write an email about it. It just kind of happened because you know me, sometimes I can kind of be a bit verbose, run off at the mouth, blah, blah, blah. But it's because I've got so much knowledge up here in my head and I want to share it with you. So anyway, one of our beautiful community members over in the private practice community shared a question. The question was, I have my practice on a bunch of different platforms to hopefully get referrals, but not having much luck. Can you recommend any quick strategies to help influx more clients? And I just thought it was such a great question. I get questions like this often. And I love to answer them because for some reason, it's just in my wheelhouse. I'm really good at marketing. I love it. I find it so easy to do, so much fun. And I love, 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 love to help people with it. So I started to reply to his comment. And anyway, at some point, I look up and I'm typing the letters, but nothing's appearing on the screen anymore. It's just my screen's cut off mid-sentence. My post or my reply, is cut off mid-sentence. And there's a little error message from Facebook saying the message is too long. So then I was like, well, I'm not going to not give this information. So I just decided I would send it as an email, which is what I did. So I thought it'd be really helpful for you. It is a long email. As I said, I wanted to cover off as much as I possibly could in a way that was short, sharp, helpful and practical, and really, really useful. Because of course, I don't want you to unsubscribe. I want you to open more because you know that they're going to be really useful. So anyway, I had that in mind when I was writing, but also trying not to make it too long. But anyway, I just want to go over some of the things, but also give you some extra things that I didn't have space for, because otherwise this would have turned into a little book. Honestly, I could have turned this into a book. So no, we'll turn it into a podcast. So if you're looking for visibility, if you're looking for clients, bookings, inquiries, referrals, all those kinds of things, listen up, because I'm going to walk you through a whole bunch of really useful stuff. Now, if you're driving, all good, not much you can do about it. Just try and make mental notes. If you're driving and you have Apple CarPlay like I do, one of the things that you can do is you can do a long press on the button for talking on your steering wheel, and you can give Siri the command to take a voice note, and she'll say, yes, what would you like to say? And you can just go blah, 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 say the thing that you want to say, and then she'll, you're just dictating, she'll record it for you, and then you can resume, right? That's your option. For everybody else, you might just want to grab a pen and paper. So anywho, or check the email if you get my emails, which, by the way, some people have said, oh, I didn't get the email, blah, blah, blah. If you've unsubscribed from my emails, that's okay. We can still be friends. Like, I get it. It's all good. I send emails, that maybe it just got you on a day and you were like, do you know what? I don't need any of this. I don't need your long emails, Brooklyn. I don't need to hear about the woo today. And you just hit the unsubscribe. I get it. It's fine. As I said, no hard feelings. But what it means is I can't re-add you because, yeah, you're just blocked. It's not me that's blocking you. It's Flowdesk. It's actually every email system. When somebody unsubscribes with the GDPR rules and stuff like that, yeah, a email platform cannot re-add you unless you physically subscribe to something. So you would have to go and opt into something. And to be honest, I've deleted nearly everything because, as you know, I've been on a big cleanup. The only other way I could possibly add you would be under a different email address, but it still records the same IP. The IP, attached to your computer, and sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. So my advice is, if you want the emails, and maybe you've just seen an email or two that weren't for you, just ignore them, because you never know. The next one might be for you. Sorry, just having a quick mouthful of tea, which, by the way, I was in Coles today, no, Woolies, and I was getting some coffee for Mum, and I went and had a look at the tea section, and Higher Living Tea, they've got a whole new range out, and I got a lot of packets because they're on special. I think they were $3.25 or something, but I love the name of them. So one of them is called, I can't even see because they're too far away, but one of them was called Flow, one of them was called Balance or something. Oh, hang on. Peaceful Pause. And then there was another one that said Power Through the Pause. And then there was another one that said Flow and Balance. And then there was another one that's called Nootropics. And it's something about Zen. So anyway, I thought we'll give them a go. But if you have a physical private practice and you have like tea and coffee making facilities for your team or your clients, might be worthwhile going and grabbing a box. And I don't know, I think they're just a little bit special. Anyway, let's get on with it because I've done enough talking, but I just remember this podcast is all talking. Okay. All right. So he was asking about like platforms and directories. So here's what I want you to know. The platform that you go on is only as good as the SEO of that platform and the SEO of your profile. So going and putting yourself on, I don't know, what's it called? Natural therapy pages, good therapy pages, Psychology Today, blah, blah, blah. Don't waste your time. Because the thing is that, unless they've got good SEO and unless you know how to write a high converting profile, it's a waste of time. You're just going to do them. You're just going to like whip up a profile and, hit submit, and you're going to be waiting for referrals. But if you don't know how to write a profile, and I'm going to tell you, don't worry, but if you don't know what to include and how to say it and all those kinds of things and how to optimize it, it doesn't get shown to anybody. And if the directory platform itself doesn't have great SEO, it just doesn't turn up in searches. So if you have to go on a directory, I would always say Psychology Today. People have a love-hate relationship with it, and I'll tell you why. The people who do really, really well with it have written profiles that convert and that are converting. They are getting clients. They love it. There are plenty of therapists, psychologists, social workers, play therapists, counselors, blah, 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 all using it as their main source of referrals. Then there's the other camp that say, oh, I hate it, it's such a waste of money, spent my $26 a month and didn't get anything, like didn't work, save your time, blah, 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 save your money. Those people, I think, probably had a good attempt and probably put up a profile they thought was click-worthy, but for whatever reason, the feedback that they're getting from clients is they don't want what you're selling. And it's not because of Psychology Today, it's because of the way that the profile was or wasn't written. Okay? That's really what it comes down to. All right. I would always say Psychology Today as well, because it always appears on the first page of Google, which means that if you've got also a well written profile, you've got really high chances of getting a client from it. I would steer clear of any online platforms or directories that ask for payment for you to be listed or promoted, especially if they're not that popular and, maybe you've heard of them, but you don't really see them come up in searches. I wouldn't bother. If you've had the PT profile, it didn't convert, it's not because of Psychology Today, it's because we need to write a profile that's landing better with your clients. All right. The next thing too was don't just smash out a profile listing so you can tick it off your to-do list and then go and do the next thing. That's not how we do it. The profiles that get the inquiries, the website visits, and the calls from potential clients are the ones that took time to sit down and write it. And by that, I mean they do drafts. They get them checked, they do more drafts, they get them checked, all of that kind of stuff. They optimize them. The optimization includes using keywords and key phrases that your client uses when the client is looking for a therapist. These profiles also speak directly to the client, not very much about the therapist. They're very personable, relatable, and they clearly demonstrate the therapist's expertise, authority, and build credibility, right? Which brings me to the next thing, right? Which is, I know that so many of you might be thinking that it's a good idea to cast a wide net, because it's going to get you loads of clients because you're welcoming everybody. And the reality is that when we speak to everyone, we're actually speaking to no one. No client is sitting in front of their computer at 3 a.m. typing into Google, therapist in my area that does all the things for all the people with all the modalities for all the problems. They're sitting there typing into Google, asking for help with specific problems. And the websites that Google shows to that potential client are going to be the websites and the profiles that say they do. In my opinion, casting a wide net and not niching is often, not always, but often symptomatic of other things that might be going on for the practitioner, like their fear of failure, their fear of success, imposter syndrome, all the things. So it's like getting in your head, self-sabotaging, all that mindset stuff. It gets in the way, and then you don't write a fantastic profile, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that Psychology Today didn't work. Anyway, usually the practices that work with a specific client or modality or outcome, etc., they're the ones that get their diaries filled the quickest. And they also end up becoming the go-to practice for the thing that they specialize in. So have a think about, what's your practice currently known for? If we were all at a party, would I be recommending your practice? Would it even pop into my mind? Yeah. And what's your practice, the go-to practice for? So what's it known for and what's it the go-to practice for? Okay. Case in point, one of my beautiful clients over in Practice Momentum, she's a counsellor in Victoria, level 4 ACA, been in practice for 12 months. She had a handful of clients, but she needed more. She had been casting a wide net. For her, she was worried because she didn't want to turn away people. She felt like she didn't want to deny anyone a service. And she felt like because she was desperate for clients, it didn't make sense to turn away people who weren't in her niche, right? So she thought it was a great way to fill the diary to not niche. Turns out, as you heard, we had some mindset stuff going on. We were able to work through that together, clear it. She was then able to identify, her people who she really wanted to work with, how, with what, all the things. And, I helped her create some compelling messaging around it. Now, she's not on socials. She's not on LinkedIn. She doesn't have a podcast. She doesn't have YouTube. It's all just her website. She went from having 3 clients every other week to now nearly being fully booked. So, yeah. And somebody else similar doubled her income, and somebody else was recently asking me about wait lists, right? On average, it's only taking these women around 10 weeks to go from having random ad hoc here, there appointments to having a consistently fully booked diary. So you cannot convince me that niching doesn't work. Yeah. In terms of platforms and directories, while it can absolutely be so tempting to tick all of the boxes when you're filling out your profile, like the boxes for what age client do you work with, what modalities do you use, what challenges do you work with, etc., don't. The reason why, there's a few. First off, we've got scope of practice. There is just no way you can be, early on in the game and be competent at working with everybody across the lifespan. Number one, you can't. The way you work with children is different to, adults, is different to, people in their, later years. It's different approaches and different ways. You can't be competent in all of the modalities, right? And you certainly can't be competent with all of the conditions. I mean, there's just no way. You can't. So we've got scope of competency. Only tick the boxes for the things that you're competent in. And competency means having a piece of paper that can back you up to say that you can. Do that, because otherwise it's misleading. If you went to work with a therapist and on her Psychology Today profile it said that, she loves working with ADHD, and you've just been diagnosed with ADHD, you start working with her and you realize she doesn't have any training or qualifications, you're going to feel a little bit misled and you might do something about that, right? Don't put yourself in that situation, right? Ethics always has to come first. And then, what else did I want to say? Yep, so I've got scope of practice, but also as importantly, it diminishes your credibility, because when you tick all of the boxes for all of the things, you're watering down the expertise that you actually have. The whole point of the listing is to showcase your expertise, to showcase the practice, and to showcase the unique way that your business helps the clients that you work with. So when you're offering, 32 flavors, you're now all of a sudden saying that you don't specialize in, I don't know, Ferrero Rocher flavor, right? Nobody's typing in, I want 32 flavors of ice cream. People are typing in, I want Ferrero Rocher, or I want cotton candy, or I want rum and raisin, right? Anyway, that gets me on to thinking about platforms. When it comes to platforms, of course, our default for many of us is, oh yeah, okay, I've got a website. Now I should go on Instagram and Facebook. Let me help you out by sharing what's working and what's not as of right now, which is July 2025. So, firstly, don't just automatically think you've got to go on Instagram and Facebook because you think everybody else is, right? Don't assume that everybody else is doing it well, is getting clients from it, knows what they're doing, because I'm here to tell you they don't, right? I'm here to save you the headache of it. What's most important is to choose the platform that your audience is on. One of my clients, she's a pack for supervisor. She was struggling to get her own counseling clients for a psychotherapy practice, right? She was posting daily reels on Instagram for months and nothing. But as it happened, when we were talking, I said to her, well, where are your clients? She's like, my clients are on LinkedIn. And I said, let's go and have a look at your LinkedIn posts. I want to have a look over there and see what we can tweak and update for you. And she goes, I'm not posting on LinkedIn. I said, why not? She goes, I only just thought about it now. This is a thing, right? So she'd been putting all this hard work and effort into a platform. It's like going into a room and, speaking into the void and wondering why you're not getting any clients. All your clients are in the room across the hall. When she went to the room across the hall, i.e. LinkedIn, and started putting her stuff up there, guess what? She started getting clients. And she does psychotherapy, and she also does supervision and things like that. And her supervision books are full now. So, yep. You don't need to be on any social media. You can have a fully booked practice without it. And in fact, the way to get the fully booked practice is to make sure that the website's working first. And if you need help with that, go and order a website wellness check. I'll put the link in the show notes. No point having a website that's, shoddy, i.e., it's not working properly, we've got broken links, it's not converting, no one's downloading your free stuff, all of the things. Because if you then go and, go onto Instagram and you're saying, go and book in on my website, and then people go to your website and it's like a dog's breakfast, they're not going to book in. So there's no point you being on social media. There's no point you running a Google ad until you get that website sorted out. So put a pin in the socials for now. Go and get the website sorted out. All right. The next thing is you've got to do better than AI, guys. Your clients are also using it. Today, I got an email from someone that runs memberships, right? And in that email, very proudly, she was announcing how she can show you how to use ChatGPT to be your therapist. And it's only going to cost you $7 a month, right? On top of that, I know this person and they don't have any qualifications, training, whatever in mental health, right? I'm not saying she needs to because she's getting, AI to be the therapist, but it's fraught with issues. I mean, I could do a whole other episode on this, but I won't. I'm sure you're probably thinking similar things like, yeah, it's a worry that there are people out there saying, oh, save your money on, seeing a psychologist, like just go and get ChatGPT to do it for you and I'll show you, how. So yeah, AI is very popular, and no matter how much deep research ChatGPT does, right, or how well you train it, what I want you to know is that it is never a substitute for you. This is really important. It's not. It's never going to be able to replace you, your experience, your wisdom, your thoughts, your take on things, your perspective, your personality, your style, your vibe. It can't do all of that, right? It can't. The reason that I want you to really take this on board is because if you're being lazy and you're, just getting ChatGPT to write the post for you, and then you're literally just, and I know you do it, maybe not you personally, but I know some of you do it. And I get it. It's because you're not confident. You assume chat knows better. You think chat knows better. You don't trust yourself. It's like, well, I was doing it. I was writing them before and they weren't converting. So, I may as well just get AI. I'm saying don't. It's damaging your reputation. It's breaking trust with any potential clients that you've got, because as soon as they see it, they recognize that it's AI because you haven't even bothered to edit it sometimes. And I know because I see you do it, like the really long M dash, you don't even delete that. Like if you're going to copy and paste from ChatGPT, at least remove the telltale signs that it's AI. Come on. Because what's happening is, I call it lazy posting, not to be mean and horrible, but because I want you to understand that as soon as a client, right, they might see maybe you've got a beautiful reel, right? And so they've seen that reel and they want to click on that to read the caption. And then they look at that caption and before they've even read it, they see all those long dashes. They see that you didn't even bother to change the formatting. And by that, I mean like on ChatGPT, when he gave you the post, he probably gave you a heading in bold, and then you've just gone copy and you've pasted it into your Instagram. Instagram doesn't recognize bold headings. It replaces them with asterisks, but you didn't even delete the asterisks. So there are telltale signs that it's AI. And what happens is the client, they've seen that reel, something landed for them on it. They're interested, they're excited, they want to go and see what you've got to say. They click on it and boom, straight away without even reading it, it's like they know it's AI and you've just lost them. Because they can go and get this from AI. I can go and get it from AI. Anybody can go and get it from AI. So it's no value. So they're not going to follow you. They're not going to download your thing. They're not going to book a call. They don't even want to work with you because they've got no idea who you are. What they can see is what, they're having a relationship with ChatGPT. They're not having a relationship with you. And that's a problem when it comes to marketing. So please, please, please use AI, but be smart about it. Okay. Change the formatting, change the words, put bits of it in your own form, but don't rely on it because, as I said, what's going to get you the clients is you being authentically you, right? You sharing your experiences, your take on things, your practice, yourself, and your clients all deserve better than copy and pasted stuff from ChatGPT, right? Don't you agree? The practices that post and get inquiries and DMs and things like that, they're the practices that are leaning into the things that chat can't provide. The human side of things, right? The emotional side of things, the experience, the lived experience side of things. Chat can never do that. You can. Okay. The other thing too, like just in case you missed it this week, I shared info in our community about the new changes to Instagram. But for those that didn't see it, the long and the short is from the 10th of July, you will have the option for your business Instagram profile, not your personal one, your business one, to opt in to, well, I think it automatically opts in actually. I think you have to go into your settings and toggle it off, but I don't know why you would toggle it off because you're on Instagram with a business profile or a professional profile to get business. So it wouldn't make sense to turn it off. But anyway, you will notice that, it's toggled on, and what's going to happen is your posts on your business profile, your professional profile, will become available to Google to give to people. Meaning, if your ideal client types in something about, I don't know, trauma, grief, and loss when it comes to pets or something like that, and you've written a really good post, that's going to come up in the search results on the first page. So what this means for you is absolutely stop using chat to write all your stuff because Google won't share that. Google's going to give preference to people who took time to write original content, as you know. So you're going to have to stop being reliant on AI, write your own content, but also a couple of other tips. Once you've written out your caption for Instagram, you want to then go back over it and feed in your keywords and key phrases. The other thing is, instead of hashtags, you know how at the bottom you can have a bunch of hashtags, you can still have the actual words, but just don't use the icon of the hashtag anymore. Just list them there as keywords. That'll help your post get found. Instead of just writing one or two sentences for your caption, that's not going to get you a client ever anyway. But if we want you to have your posts distributed on Google to all the people that aren't on Instagram, which there are millions and billions, I'm sure, who don't know you exist because you're on Instagram and they're not, they will be able to see that you exist. But again, it has to be a decent caption. So 2 sentences, it's not going to get shown to anybody. You can have 2,200 characters on an Instagram caption. I keep mine to 2,000, which is about 3 or 4 paragraphs. So yeah, just a general guide for you there that will really, really help you. So I wanted to share that. If you wanted to, someone was saying to me during the week, should I go and update previous posts? I would say, look, if you've got time, it's not going to hurt. And if you've got, content that's really important and useful, absolutely go for it. But if you've just been posting quotes about mindful breathing and soaking in a tub and, inhale for 4 and exhale for 3 and stuff, I wouldn't bother. But if you've got good quality content in there, I would absolutely go and do it. It'll be so worth it for you. Okay. The other thing too is the people who are on Instagram and Facebook, even if you've got a website and stuff like that, the people who are getting results more quickly are the ones who are looking at their insights. So I don't know if you do this or not, but I know most of the people I talk to don't. But then I'm talking with a certain demographic, right? I specialize in helping women in solo private practices who are struggling to get the business going. That's who I work with. So this is probably why I hear it a lot. But I know they don't check their insights. Like some of them have no idea where you would even find them. And then when they do find them, it's like gobbledygook, looking at a completely different language, and they don't know like how to read it, how to make sense of it and things like that. But you should definitely go and learn. In fact, it's a requirement, not a requirement. Like I'm a dictator. I can be bossy. It's a little bit of the autism probably, but I can be a little bit bossy. But I do teach, show, help all of my clients in Practice Momentum to look at and understand their insights, because we use that information to, pivot the practice and make better decisions that get them better outcomes. And this is why they've all been getting fast outcomes really, really quickly. It's because we do this in conjunction with a whole lot of other stuff. We do energy work, we do business strategy, it's business consulting, it's business mentoring, it's business coaching, it's mindset stuff. It's like this whole capsule of things. But yeah, people who, sorry, I just whacked my microphone because I was like throwing my hands around while I was talking to you. People who get inquiries and bookings on their social media, it's usually because they're creating content not from templates they got on Etsy. We're going to talk about that in a moment as well. But they're creating content based on their insights. So anyway, that's something really important. One of the ladies inside Momentum, by working with the data in her insights, she was able to increase her bookings, and she increased her bookings by, I think it was like 35% within the first 4 weeks, which is massive. Anyway, okay. The next thing that I want to talk to you about in terms of getting clients is if you've got a freebie on your website. I know so many of you do. That's great. It's probably not getting downloaded much. So I'm going to show you how to fix it. But first, you need to understand why we've got them. Freebies are part of your client journey pathway, right? Simply means how a client finds their way to booking in with you from never having heard of you. The freebie provides really helpful, valuable information to anyone that's interested in working with you, but who isn't yet ready to go ahead and book a session, right? They're wanting more info, or they just need to be in your world for a little while. They need a sample of what you're doing, all that kind of stuff, right? So pre-ChatGPT, back in the day, freebies were super popular. In fact, I used to run courses teaching people how to make them and get them downloaded. And I too confess, absolutely, I've downloaded a gazillion of them. All you have to do is look at my iCloud and you will see they're all there. Not all of them were opened, but a lot were downloaded. And look, you probably did the same thing, right? You've probably got a lot of freebies that you downloaded and maybe didn't open, some that you did. But we're in July 2025, and with AI on the it's not on the horizon, it's AI is here and here to stay. Freebies have lost their appeal because the information that we were providing, anyone can now get from ChatGPT. But it doesn't mean that freebies are dead. It simply means you need to give your freebie an update, a freshen up, a makeover. And just like what I was saying earlier, this is going to be about bringing your personal stuff, your personal expertise, your wisdom, your insights, your perspectives, all the things that your clients can't get from ChatGPT, need to now be included in the freebie. And as I said in a previous episode, bonus points if you include implementation, right? What makes a freebie useful and valuable now is the experience that someone has with it. So that's why ebooks suck. Like, people get so excited about making ebooks. I don't understand why. They rarely convert. They rarely get downloaded compared to other things that you could be doing. They take you a lot longer to put together if you're writing it yourself. and all of the things. I would just keep it really simple, really easy, go from there, but give them an experience that they're not going to forget. Okay. If you want to go and have a look at one of my current favorite freebies, it's on a website called Nurture Our Nature. I think it's in the resources section or something like that. But yeah, definitely go and download that and you'll see what I mean. It was like a really good one. Anywho, the other thing is, yeah, when you're making freebies, I am such a big fan of Secret Weapon. I love it. I've spoken about it for years. I have an affiliate link for it. I know so many of you are in it too. But again, we've got people being really lazy. I don't know if it's laziness. I'm sure for some people it probably is, but for other people, maybe they just don't know. But all you have to do is go into Etsy and type anxiety journal, and you will see the same damn journal, 100 versions of it. People haven't changed the cover, they haven't changed the font, they haven't changed anything, and they're all selling it for different prices. Some people have it on there for $1, other people have it on there for 77. Like, it's the same thing, right? People are gonna anyway. It again diminishes your credibility when you've got you're using templates and you're not doing anything with them. But let me explain. A template feels like something that you should just be able to download and use, right? Especially from something like Secret Weapon, which is private label rights, meaning you can go and resell it, right? You can't sell it as a template, but you can brand it and you can sell it as a resource for your business. And you can sell it anywhere you want. You could put it on Etsy, you could put it on your website, you can put it on your socials, you can put it on your link tree, you can put it in your stand cart, Sam cart, wherever you like, you can put it. But it's going to be a problem if your clients are looking for something and they see that yours is one of 30 of the same resource. We don't want that. And it shouldn't be like that. A template is always just a base. It's just a base. Like, for example, I give so many scripts and templates to my clients in Momentum, but I say to them all the time, like, yes, you can use it as it is, but it'd be better if you tweaked it so it sounded more in alignment with your business, with your practice, for your clients and things like that. Change this about it, change that about it, and really customize and personalize it. So when you're using the templates, it's the same for you. You've got to make this look like it is totally brand new and they've never seen it before. And not only that, I don't know, I think some people get a bit, Canva happy. They download a template from somewhere like Secret Weapon and they just go in and change the colors and put their logo on it. But I don't know that they stop to read the stuff. Some of the stuff you would never in a million years say to a client. Some of the processes are not going to work for your clients, depending on what your client niche is and stuff like that. So if you don't even bother to, I don't know, if you get a journal, let's just stick with the journal example, right? And it's got 50 prompts. If you don't read those prompts, how do you know that they're going to be useful for a client? You don't, right? You're being lazy with it. You just I know it's taking you time to put it together and everything, but then you're just chucking it up at the website and praying that somebody is going to download it, and no one does. And you say passive income doesn't work. It's not working because it's not speaking to your client yet. And if they have downloaded it and they're seeing very general, generic prompts and information that they could get off AI, again, you've lost your credibility. But worse, if somebody's paid for it, they're definitely not going to book in. What's better is if you say, this is so awesome to have the format, the layout. Oh, I like the idea of having some prompts. I wonder what prompts I could put here that would be so helpful for my client. That's the better way. Okay. So always personalize it. If you haven't, get rid of them. Take them off I keep saying Etsy instead of Etsy. Take them off Etsy, take them off your website, spend some time customizing them. Change the title instead of leaving the title as anxiety therapy journal. Go and change it to a title that's going to be meaningful for your client so it gets downloaded or purchased, right? Anywho, the other thing too is when you have a freebie, it's not enough just to give it away. So some of you have a link to the freebie that actually goes to your Google Drive and they can just download it. You're not getting their email address. That's like defeating the whole point of having a freebie. So you need to have an opt-in, right? So if you're using Flowdesk, which is what I use, but you can use MailChimp or MailerLite, ConvertKit, whatever, you have like a little opt-in form. You know the type. It's the one where it says enter your email. We're not going to send you spam, blah, blah, blah. You have to have that. So you're at least getting their email because you want to check that they're able to get the thing that you were giving them, but also because you want to have a email sequence behind it that helps them to become a paying client down the track if and when it's ready and the planets are in alignment and, Mercury's not in retrograde. But anyway, the next thing is discovery calls. So, some practices do them really well. They convert really well. They are that practice's main source of clients. Other practices don't do them well at all. They still offer them, don't like them. They rarely convert. A lot of practices have them on the website and they just never get a call. It's because a couple of reasons. Like they just don't have any place in, like, you're trying to be a professional, you're trying to be a health professional here. I mean, does a lawyer do a discovery call? No. Does your psychologist do one? No. Like, you're doing them as a counselor because somehow, somewhere, someone was talking about them. They actually come from the coaching industry, and the reason that they're there is because to work with a coach typically costs a lot of money, like thousands of dollars. So it makes sense that the coach and the potential client connect so that they can talk about what's included in the coaching program, the kind of results they're going to get, the return on investment, all those kinds of things. It's really important, especially if the client is new to the coach's world, right? And they don't know the coach very well and stuff like that. Maybe they're connecting because they saw one of the coach's Instagram ads, for example. So there's that. I forget what else I was going to say. They don't really have a place here. If you want to do them, you can, and I'll tell you how to do it successfully. Basically, you need to have a framework for it. You need to have a name for it. So don't call it strategy call, don't call it inquiry call, and don't call it discovery call, because those things mean nothing to clients. And maybe you didn't know what those things meant, right? You had an idea, but they're like just terms that people are like, this is going to be a sales call. And that's not what we do here, right? You and I are all about being our authentic selves. And that means, warts and all, flaws and all. Like, I am always just going to be honest with you. And I know sometimes you're not going to like what I say. And I appreciate that sometimes, what I say might be, uncomfortable, or, maybe you just don't like it and things like that. But I also know that I'm not going to BS you. And that's why you listen to this podcast. So when you do your call, right, you have to give it a title that's going to make sense to your ideal client, and you have to create a framework around it. Because otherwise, you're going to run the risk of just delivering free counseling sessions where you feel great, the client feels great. It comes to the time to book them in, and they say, no, thanks, don't need it anymore. Talking to you now was perfect, right? But I'll come back if I need to. You never hear from them again. But what I was saying a moment ago was, when you're being you and you're being authentic and honest, you don't have to be like, I'm very casual with you here on this podcast, because I feel like I can. I mean, I don't know if I'd be this casual if we were all in a room together at a conference. I don't know. Like, I'd probably be on my best behavior until I settled in, and then I would probably start revealing my true colors. But I'm all of me here because you're not here, and I can. So it means that when people come and work with me, usually they've come because they've been listening to my podcast for a couple of years, or they've been in my world for a couple of years, and they've been reading my emails maybe, and they know me, and they know what they're getting. They know what they're signing up for. They know that, you know, if they don't want BS, they know that if they're into spirituality and they're into a little bit of the woo and they want to do universe talk and manifesting stuff, they know I can do those things. And so when they reach out to me and they're like, hey, I want to, book a supervision session. I want to book a coaching session. I want to do this. I want to do that. There's no selling involved because they already know me. They already know who I am, what I'm about, what I stand for, what I stand against, which you all know. They know me, right? I don't hide anything. I'm not putting on a pretense. I'm not coming on here doing a very buttoned up, highly edited podcast episode twice a week that sounds like, I'm a senior health professional talking to others. No, it's just me at home with my dog and my ADD and my crystals and my tarot and oracle deck collection. And now with my Wi-Fi. So yeah, there's no selling is what I'm saying. That's why your website is so important, and how you put it together, the things that you write on it, the things you say in it, so that then when people do reach out, you're never selling because they already know that they want to work with you. It's usually just going to be a question or two that they've got about getting started. So for me, it looks like, if people, I don't know, let's say they book a 15-minute business session with me, right? Business consultation session with me. I want some quick guidance specific to their practice. I can absolutely do that. And probably 7 times out of 10 at the end of the call, somebody will say, how can I work with you? Do you do coaching? Can I book a session? Blah, blah, blah. So I don't ever sell. I don't. I never have to convince, push, feel icky. I don't. And you shouldn't either. If you are feeling like that, it's perhaps because of you think maybe that's what you've got to do to get a sale. It's not. Or it's because you're getting in your head about it, you're overthinking, and maybe on your website you're hiding or you're shrinking or you're dimming or you're watering down stuff, and you feel then that you've got to compensate for your fee because you don't have a rebate, or you've got to justify things because you don't have a rebate, or you've got to offer a discount so you can get a client. Yeah, that thinking is going to happen as a result of, I guess, fear mindset and imposter syndrome and things like that, which is why I'm saying, like, the way forward, the way for you to grow your practice and grow it quickly is by dropping all the masks, dropping all the ways you think you need to be showing up, and just being your beautiful, beautiful self. Speaking of beautiful selves, somebody has just woken up. His name starts with B and ends in Adi, and he's just walked over to the window. He's in my peripheral vision. If I look in that general direction, I'm done for, so I won't. But there's a chance he could see a bird or a butterfly and maybe bark. If that happens, I'm going to have to hit pause, remove the barky bit, and then come back. Just giving you the heads up in case I don't edit out all of the barking. Okay. What else did I want to say? Yeah. So in Momentum, one of the girls there, she'd been doing discovery calls, hadn't been getting many people booking them, blah, blah, blah. We put a framework in place for her. It gave it a catchy title, all of the things, blah, blah, blah. within a few weeks, I think it was like not even a month, she had 5 or 6 booked and nearly all of them converted. So it was absolutely worth it. And that's the other thing about having a freebie on your website as well. So I did the maths. A freebie on a website for therapists on average gets downloaded by 8 people out of every 100, right? So if you've got it up there and it hasn't been downloaded 100 times yet, don't stress. It's too early to tell whether it's good or not, or whether it's working or not. You're just going to have to keep it up there for a bit. But those 8 people that end up converting, i.e. becoming paying clients as a result of downloading the freebie, if you were charging $150 a session and on average you see people 6 times, that freebie generated you $7,500 roughly. I'm just looking at my email because I'm pretty sure I did put, there we go, $7,200 that freebie is generating for your practice. Is it worth it to spend the time customizing a template from Secret Weapon? Yes. If you don't, you've just missed out on $7,200. What could you do with that money? It's a lot of money. That's a little pay rise for you. That's a new computer or a new laptop. That's like faster Wi-Fi. That's like a better tech stack. That's a VA to do the things that you don't want to do, right? It's very important that if you're going to have free things, that you do them well. If you had 2 or 3 freebies on your website that were doing well, I'm just going to do the maths here. Oh, I can do it in my head. If you had 2 or 3, let's say you had 3 freebies that were doing well, and they all got downloaded by 8 people each, who each had 6 sessions, those 3 freebies have just brought in $21,500 for your business. I mean, you make them once, you leave them there. It's definitely passive income. If it's not working and people aren't downloading it, it's because they don't want what you're putting out there, which means you're out of touch with your audience, which is not a problem. That's good information to have because it's telling us, stop doing what you're doing. We need to take a step back and find a way of finding out what your people, what your audience, what your potential clients do want, and then create what they want. It's that simple. Okay. What else? Yeah, I'm just quickly doing a scan of my email to see if I've forgotten anything. There's other stuff in the email that you probably know already, if you've been listening to this podcast. So I'm not going to go over that with you. The other thing, Google Ads. I think that Google Ads are a fantastic way to get clients. Again, caveats, conditions apply. A Google ad is not going to, in itself, get you a client. What's going to happen is a Google ad will get people over to your website. If that website is hard to see, hard to use, hard to look at, you've got moving pictures, you've got a lot of stock images, it's not compliant, the language is off, it's vague, it's very broad messaging, there's information missing. The only way I can get started is you're making it compulsory that I have a 15-minute call, or you're making a requirement that I send you an email. No. You can throw all the money you want at Google, but it will not get you a client because of the website. And this brings me back to what I was saying at the start. If you want to get clients for your private practice, it's so important that that website is good. It has to be working, easy to use, nice to look at, have all the information readily available, and have it really easy for people to be able to get started with you. So, yeah, as I said, if your website isn't bringing inquiries, or if you've got a freebie on your website and you're not sure what's wrong with it, like if it's not getting downloaded and stuff like that, let me know, and I'll help you. Right? You can absolutely go and order a website wellness check and I'll do it for you. You don't have to lift a finger. All you have to do is order it, pay $47, fill out a quick form that basically just asks for your email address so I know where to send it. And it asks for your website, and it asks you what you if you've got something specific you want me to look at, it asks for that. It gives you a free text option, so you can put anything else you want me to be aware of. Some people say, can you go and have a look at my socials as well, which I can do. Just make sure you give me the links. And then just hit submit, and then I will do an assessment for you and get it back to you within 48 hours. And to be entirely honest, if you've ever had one, I think you would agree you probably got it back in less than 24, because these are such a priority. I will put other things on hold to get these done, because your website, if it's not converting, every hour it's a potential client that you probably just missed out on. So it's a priority that we get it sorted. But yeah, you don't have to do it. I will do it. I will send you the, feedback, guidance report, recommendations, all those kinds of things. And then you can have a look over it. And if there's any that you want to implement, go for it. If there's any you don't, that's fine too. But at least you'll know what's going well and what needs some tweaking or some attention and things like that. So there's that. I would absolutely say go and do that. And yeah, just about momentum. As I said to you before, like, it's daily support. You get as much help from me as you want. You drive the amount of help. You can contact me 100 times a day if that's what you need and that's what you want. That's totally fine. That's what you're paying for. It's entirely private and confidential. It's just a little immersion program, you and me, one-on-one for a full year. Yeah, no Zooms, no 1 hour Google Meets, nothing like that. It's just, we're just going to roll up our sleeves and get on with it. When you first start, the very first thing that I get you to do is some pre-work. And then I will do an assessment of your business as part of the pre-work. Then we catch up together online. It's probably one of the only times that we do catch up. And the reason why is because obviously I want to meet you in real life and welcome you in, but also because I want to be able to sit down with you, ask big questions, get big answers, and help you put together a plan for the next 90 days. And I want to make it a plan that's going to ensure that you get a lot of quick wins. All right. So if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know I'm all about that. You will see them all on the page. If you want to go and have a look at the momentum page, there's lots of examples there of quick wins. So that's how it starts. Right from the day that you enroll, you can start. You can send your first message, the minute you send me back the agreement. Done. You're in. Let's go. Let's get started. So it's a great program for people who have been floundering for a little while, who have been trying to do it on their own, but realize that maybe they need a little bit of extra help, who like a bit of accountability or who like a little bit of support. At the same time, this works really well for people who are in full-time study or working in part-time jobs and trying to get the practice off the ground, because it's so flexible and because we don't have any commitments, right? It's so flexible. It's really easy for you to get help. So it was designed for that. It was also designed for people like me who are neurodivergent, who just don't do well with commitments, and who, when I say that, I mean like knowing that you've got to sit down at 12 o'clock for an hour to do like a supervision session. That's hard. For some of us, that's really hard. So this is not about that. This is about you getting help as close to in the moment as we possibly can get it. So that you're not left lingering, and so that you can get on with the thing that you're doing while you are in the zone, right? And that's what I think is getting people the results. So, yeah, it really does work. And it also works around life because we're together for a year and we get to work every single day if you want to. Most people don't. Actually, nobody works with me every single day. It would be a lie if I said that they were. Most people start off wanting help frequently in the beginning. And then once we've got everything set up, it kind of dies down a bit, and then it picks up again as we're experiencing growth spurts in the business, and we're needing to introduce new systems, or we're now looking at wait lists for some of them, or we're now looking at hiring people for some of them. Some of them now, like, can you believe there's one beautiful soul in the program who wasn't even paying herself for 3.5 years of private practice, got to the point where she knew she needed help. She joined Momentum within, like, it happened so quickly. You can speak to her when you join if you want. I'm sure she won't mind, but it was like 6 weeks or something. It was nothing. She got almost fully booked. She was drawing a wage. She was increasing her wage week on week on week on week. Well, anyway, she's just been going great guns. And yeah, she was asking me about waitlist. She was one of the ones that was asking me about waitlist. And over the last couple of days, I've been supporting her in moving into her own space. So she's like getting this space, and it's got like multiple treatment rooms, consulting rooms, and all the things. And I mean, it's just happened so quickly, but it could because she had the support and the structure behind her to do it. So she's done a complete 180 from thinking that she was going to have to, like I say, go and get a job at Bunnings. That's where she was in February, March when she first started. We're only in the 2nd of July today, and now she's like in brick and mortar clinic with treatment rooms. And anyway. And the other thing too is the reason why it works is because I specialize in helping women who are struggling to get the business going. I get it that you don't have the cash flow of a practice that is established, that does have full books. And so for that reason, I don't want you not to be able to get help. So you can start on a payment plan of $250 or $275 a month. Right? Easy. So easy. And yeah, it means that you can build the practice for 6 months, start to get the clients in, start to get the cash flow happening, and then you're good to go. So never feel like you can't get the help. Never feel like it's not available. And please don't ever feel like it's not accessible. Okay? It doesn't have to be like that. And also too, like, if even the 275 is a stretch, you can always let me know, and I will always try and work something out with you. The last thing I'm going to do is turn you away if you're serious about getting help. I'm not going to turn you away. I would rather we sit down and figure out something than you continue on this path, end up not creating a business. It's not going anywhere. You have imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and then you leave the profession and you do go and work at Bunnings, right? No, we don't want to lose you. We need you. But in order for you to get this business going, you have to believe that, and you have to be at a point where enough's enough. And yeah, for some of you, it will be like it's tax time at the moment. I don't know if you've done your P&L yet. Probably not, because it's only the 2nd of July. But if you have a look at your numbers and you think to yourself, oh, I would have hoped that they were better. I was expecting higher revenue. Revenue's all the money that comes into the business, by the way. Revenue's all the money that comes in. Profit is all the money that comes in minus the costs of the business. If your profit isn't where it needs to be, like, maybe there's signs that now might be a sign from the universe to actually bite the bullet and get a little bit of support. It's okay for you to ask for help. That's what I'm here for. I'd be out of a job if people didn't need it. Okay. Lots of people struggle when they're in private practice. You're not alone. You haven't done anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. You can turn it around and there's help for you. But when you're ready, all right? I'm never going to pitch you or sell you or anything like that. But I also wouldn't be a very good coach if I knew you needed something. I had the thing you needed and I didn't tell you. Like, that'd be pretty SH1T and I wouldn't do that. So you know it's there when you're ready. And yeah, I will put a link in the show notes if you want to go and look at it. You don't have to do anything, but go and have a look so you know what's there when you're ready. And two, some of the ladies in Momentum, like as I said, they've been giving me like beautiful audios that I can pop in my podcast, which I will in coming podcasts. But some of them have also said to me to tell you that if you are wanting to join but you've got questions, that they're happy to have a conversation with you as well. So if that would be useful, because I know sometimes you want to hear things from other people, I totally get that. If that would be useful for you, let me know and I will connect you with one of them. Okay. Otherwise, let's wrap it up. Was this a helpful episode for you? Like thinking about all those marketing things? I bet you took something away. I hope, I shouldn't say I bet, my dream for you is that you took something away from this that will actually help shift the needle. So I hope you learned something about Instagram. I hope you learned something about getting a client. Just coming back to the question about, what's the quickest way to get a sharp influx of clients? It's always going to be the website. And once the website's done, then it will be a Google ad and a Psychology Today profile. But again, if they're not converting, it's because you just haven't yet figured out how to write things. And that's just a skill. And you're good at picking up skills. You're really good at learning. There's no reason why you couldn't learn this as well. Alrighty. So anyway, I hope it was super helpful today. Thank you very, 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 very much for your company again. As I said, I'll include the information for Practice Momentum below and the website wellness check if that feels like an easier place to start. No problem. All good. Everybody's at different places. I get it. It's all good. And yeah, if you need anything, of course, let me know. Otherwise, have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the week. Thank you so much for listening. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorm.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.